Senator, thanks so much for your time, sir. It's good talking to you once again.
Good to be with you. Thank you very much.
You bet. All right, well, let's get right to it here. I've got to ask your reaction to the news this week that 3 supervisors within the ATF, all connected to Operation Fast and Furious, have now been transferred back to D.C. I guess there's some dispute over whether or not this is a promotion that we're talking about or a lateral move, but either way, you know, there's a lot of folks saying these people should be fired, and instead they're now under the umbrella over at ATF headquarters. What's your take?
Well, unfortunately, the Department of Justice and the ATF have pretty much stonewalled congressional attempts to find out exactly who came up with this boneheaded idea of letting these guns walk to Mexico and end up in the hands of the cartel. And, the things that I think irritate people the most about what they see happening in Washington, D.C. these days are, number one, arrogance of power, which seems to say, well, we don't need to tell you what happened. And secondly, the lack of accountability. And I think you see both factors at play here in this Fast and Furious issue.
Now, I know that you've also sent a letter to Attorney General Eric Holder requesting, I guess, any information about Fast and Furious style tactics or techniques that may have been used in the Lone Star State. Have you heard back from the Attorney General?
We have not. Again, that's pretty consistent. He's basically stonewalled our attempts to try to find out. The amazing thing to me is even though a U.S. law enforcement agent was killed in December 2010 with one of these weapons that walked from one of these gun shops, even though the ATF said let him go and under suspicious circumstances, the Attorney General said he didn't know about this project until April of 2011. I was Attorney General of Texas and had about 3,500 employees in my office. I guarantee if something like that had happened on my watch, I would know about it the same day, and I'd be asking a lot of questions that apparently the Attorney General is not asking. So, it looks like this thing is not just isolated to this Phoenix office of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, but now it includes at least one place in Texas, and I suspect some others as well.
That's just amazing to me because you've got law enforcement officers, veterans of the agency, who are the ones who actually came forward and started spilling the beans about Fast and Furious. They were upset about what was going on. They were angry when they were told that they should stand down and let these guns cross the border, and they were scared to death that these guns were going to be used in violent crimes. And sure enough, that's what's happened. And now you believe that this was happening elsewhere along the border, that there are other operations under Project Gunrunner, Project Gunrunner, in which these guns may have been walked across the border.
Well, and as you know, in the House, Congressman Darrell Issa has been conducting a number of hearings, and in the Senate, Senator Chuck Grassley, who's actually the ranking member on the Judiciary Committee that I sit on, has been taking the lead on this. But when I saw this had expanded to Texas, I felt like I needed to step up and turn up the heat. And we need to know, did the Attorney General know, or was he negligent in failing to know what is happening within his own operation there at the Department of Justice? The President of the United States said, well, there's an Inspector General investigation, but that's not good enough. There needs to be some accountability and a whole lot less arrogance when it comes to the Department of Justice and this administration on this misguided project, Fast and Furious Operation Gunrunner.
Well, Senator, listen, I appreciate your interest in this issue, and I'm curious, as you've been traveling around the state of Texas during the congressional recess, are you hearing from folks? Are they aware of this story, and are they ticked off?
Increasingly, people are aware of this story. This has sort of bubbled around in Washington, D.C., but I think the more people learn about this, the more they're concerned, and the more, frankly, symptomatic of a bigger problem they see with Washington, which is lack of accountability and arrogance. And I think this, unfortunately, fits right into that theme, which has become all too common.
Yeah. Well, Senator, again, appreciate everything you're doing on this and look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas, joining us here on NRAnews.com.